The Boston Massacre, known to the British as the Incident on King Street, was a confrontation on March 5, 1770 in which British soldiers shot and killed several people while being harassed by a mob in Boston. The event was heavily publicized by leading patriots such as Paul Revere and Samuel Adams. British troops had been stationed in the province of Massachusetts Bay since 1768 in order to support Crown-appointed officials and to enforce unpopular parliamentary legislation. Amid tense relations between the civilians and the soldiers, a mob formed around the British sentry and verbally abused him. He was eventually supported by 8 additional soldiers, who were hit by clubs, stones, and snowballs. They fired into the crowd without orders, instantly killing 3 people and wounding others, 2 of whom later died of their wounds. The crowd eventually dispersed after Acting Governor Thomas Hutchinson promised an inquiry, but they reformed the next day, prompting withdrawal of the troops to Castle Island. 8 soldiers, 1 officer, and 4 civilians were arrested and charged with murder, and they were defended by future President John Adams. 6 of the soldiers were acquitted, the other 2 were convicted of manslaughter and given reduced sentences. The men found guilty of manslaughter were sentenced to branding on their hands. Depictions, reports, and propaganda about the event heightened tensions throughout the 13 colonies, notably the colored engraving produced by Paul Revere. The Boston Massacre is considered one of the most significant events that turned colonial sentiment against King George III and British parliamentary authority. John Adams wrote that the foundation of American independence was laid on March 5, 1770, and Samuel Adams and other patriots used annual commemorations Massacre Day to encourage public sentiment toward independence. In 1888, a monument was erected on the Boston Common in memory of the men killed in the massacre, and the 5 victims were reinterred in a prominent grave in the Granary Burying Ground. The massacre is reenacted annually on March 5 under the auspices of the Bostonian Society. The Old State House, the massacre site, and the Granary Burying Ground are part of Boston's Freedom Trail, connecting sites important in the city's history.
Don't stare.
Sorry.
Come on.
This place is incredible. The people, the sounds and smells. I could walk these streets for days and know not even half its wonders.
I thought the same as you upon a time. These days, I much prefer the quiet of the countryside.
But there is so much life here. So many opportunities.
For a few, my boy. For a few. There's a store close to here. You're to buy the items on this list. Tell them where the carriage is, and they'll see that it's loaded. Understood?
Yes.
Good. You're also going to need a new name. Your skin is fair enough that you might pass for one with Spanish or Italian blood. Better to be thought a Spaniard than a native. And both are better still than I.
That is not true.
What's true and what is aren't always the same.
What would you call me then?
Connor. Yes, that will be your name. All right then, off you go.
I grow tired of this. It seems each day a new tax is levied, a new rule enforced, all without our consent. The Revenue Act. The Indemnity Act, the Commissioners of Customs Act. Oh, Chancellor Townsend must have thought himself so clever when he papered these thefts and made them law, but the Constitution says we've a right to refuse, that there will be no taxation without representation. Tell me, who represented us in Parliament? Who spoke on our behalf? Signed in our stead? Give me a name. Only you can't. And you know why? You can't tell me who represented us because nobody did!
You lost?
I need the items on this list.
Will you be paying with coin or trade? Some of these things I have, some I don't. Lumber's hard to come by since my supplier up and vanished. I have the tools and pitch, though. Nails, too. So, where do you want this delivered?
Our wagon is near the State House. I should return to Achilles.
Who stands in Parliament for Boston? For New York? For Virginia?
Everyone!
No one.
Come with
Old
us!
Sarum is represented.
We've had enough!
And Newport, and Newtown, Seaford, and Saltash. The list goes on. Rotten boroughs, one and all. And yet, there are men who speak for them. These places... What has become of the rights of Englishmen? Are we not entitled to... We're headed to the customs house to toss some quips at the lobsters. James, Sam, come on.
What
We're gonna
happened?
ruffle some
That's
redback
what we're
feathers.
going to find
With me,
out.
to King Street!
Follow
we'll
me.
show 'em! Down to the customs house for a spree! Come along!
I say again, disperse! Congregating in this manner is forbidden!
We're not going anywhere, Bug.
Oi! Why did you go back to England?
No good can come of this chaos! Return to your homes, and all will be forgiven!
Never!
Not until you've answered for your crimes!
You're right, cowards!
You don't scare us.
Pointing guns at unarmed
We
folk.
ain't afraid!
There.
Is that... my father?
Yes, which means trouble is sure to follow. I need you to tail his accomplice. This crowd is a powder keg. We can't allow him to light the fuse.
But...
But nothing. Do as I say and go.
Come on, you gosh-gutted coward. It doesn't shoot at me.
Hey, Lobster! Go ahead! Fire your little gun!
You red back, rum-soaked, bacon-faced lout! I do soon fight you this on you!
Boy, you there! What's all the fuss about?
Fire at the townhouse.
Your plot is ended.
Not quite. Damn you!